Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. Leading the news tonight, the Prime Minister has touched down on Tasmanian soil, meeting with Yes 23 campaigners just a day after the referendum date was announced. Anthony Albanese also visiting Hobart, officially opening the city's first urgent care clinic.
Swarmed by supporters, the Prime Minister's attention locked on a little boy and his fractured arm.
How you feeling? What happened?
He's one of my constituents.
Fell off your scooter.
The 9-year-old patched up in under 2 hours at Tasmania's second urgent care clinic, officially opened today.
We all would rather not see a doctor, I think, but when you need one in to deal with issues in an efficient way.
The facility built into a pre-existing pharmacy on Bathurst Street to provide assessment, treatment and care for pressing but non-life-threatening conditions.
We recognise that throughout the pandemic, with the cancelling of non-emergency surgery during that elective surgery during that time, that has put extra pressure on hospitals.
400 patients have flooded through the doors in the past fortnight. The workload soon to be shared with another Hobart clinic coming online in around 8 weeks.
Towards the end of the night, we do have to start turning people away. So to have another clinic open would be fantastic.
A fourth and final location also identified in the northwest.
$15 million commitment from the federal government, backed up by $2.6 million in support of the state government, is an example of the cooperation between federal and state governments.
The Prime Minister's visit coincides with the first official day of campaigning after a date was set for the Indigenous Voice to Parliament referendum. Anthony Albanese targeting Tasmania with his push to vote yes on October 14.
We have gaps in health and education and housing. We need to do something different and to do something better.
The Prime Minister, a political celebrity in Launceston.
Hey, how you going?
Nursing the vote with the public.
And Aboriginal people have told us that they want to have this voice. They want to have this mechanism, this advisory body, to take their views directly to government.
With just weeks until Australians make their views known to government. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Commission of Inquiry's final report into child sex abuse in Tasmanian institutions has been handed over to the Governor. For more, we're joined by state political reporter Josh Duggan. Josh, their work is finally done.
Kim, 29 months after the Commission began, they can finally rest. In a short ceremony today at Government House, 8 volumes totalling 3,500 pages were handed over to the Governor. She'll review it with the advice of the government before it's tabled in Parliament. The 75 findings and 191 recommendations are expected to be made public along with the rest of the report on September 26. The task of implementing it then lies ahead. Kim?
And Josh, even today there are concerns still being raised about how Tasmania's child safety system is operating.
That's right, Kim. A heartbroken mother has said how she believes the system is failing her son, or has set him up to fail. Just a week after he was released from Ashley, he's back in custody. Lucy's son was released from Ashley Youth Detention Centre last Monday. He's been deemed unsafe to live with her. Just 16 years old, he was placed in a caravan park.
They did tell me which caravan park. And they'd also said that there'd be 2 people in cabins near my child just to pretty much keep the caravan park safe.
She says his financial support is $30 worth of gift cards per day. It's up to him to find a way into the city each day to collect them.
It's heartbreaking, especially when, I'm sitting at home in a warm house with food, all the things that we have at home, and yet knowing that my son's out there and I can't just go pick him up and bring him back here.
After an unrelated incident 1 week later, he was in Ashley once again. His mum says he was set up to fail.
Like, they're literally just booted out the door and we'll see you when you're back. I know he's got a roof, I know he's got his meals, but then at the same time, you've then got to worry about everything that then comes with what comes with Ashley Detention Centre. And yeah, everything in that.
Youth shelters are in short supply, as is accommodation for those leaving Ashley. The Department of Education, Children and Young People says those discharged from the centre have dedicated care teams who understand their individual needs and work to meet them. Lucy can't understand why the system isn't held to the same standard she is as a parent. The promise her son would be kept safe has now been crushed.
It's horrible, especially given the fact that I'm pretty sure they said the same thing about me when I was a child. And look where we are.
A system stuck in repeat. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A rare ceremony took place this afternoon to pay tribute to long-standing judge, Associate Justice Stephen Holt, who has been part of the Supreme Court for the past 24 years. The traditional event saw a number of judges and family gather to honour Holt's career and his invaluable contribution to defamation and environment law. Holt's approach to law was described as fair, courteous and conscientious. A series of new videos is helping new migrants and refugees navigate the Tasmanian legal system and understand their rights. A local organisation is hoping to provide support around resettlement, domestic violence and education, all from a safe setting.
For Yahya Jahan, moving to Tasmania 4 months ago meant starting a new life. He's one of many who have benefited from a new video program helping answer tricky migration questions.
It was really great for me. It was useful because before this I really didn't have any information about this, that how can I get my family to here.
To be able to create these series of videos that allow you to work through your migration claim in your own time.
Citizen Tasmania alongside the Tasmanian Refugee Legal Service launching the program, hoping to help people better understand refugee legal rights and ultimately find work.
Including legal, social and cultural. It's because of this gap that it means that people do end up leaving the state.
The aim is to close the knowledge gap and overcome language barriers so vital resettlement information can be passed on.
So social isolation is really hard. Digital exclusion, a lot of people don't have access to internet and services to be able to really show up in the community.
ABS data shows there were over 50,000 international student arrivals to Australia in June this year. That's an increase of over 21,000 compared to the same time last year. While there were over 700 long-term visitors to Tasmania, proving the increasing need for the service.
Sometimes it was nervous. Sometimes I lost myself because sometimes I felt like I can't understand what's going on. But now I think, yeah, it's getting better and better.
Ruby Kens, 7 Tasmania News.
The next stage of the revitalisation of the Tamar Estuary's upper reaches is set to begin. The Management Estuary Task Force released its 5-year vision today. It's hoped to achieve a healthier and more resilient waterway, as well as a recreational space for locals to enjoy.
We'll see clean-up of the edges of the estuary and weed management actions, and we'll also see, as I said, that master plan for the interconnection of this side of the river and the other side of the river.
More than $150 million has been pumped into the plan, which can now be viewed online. More than 200 Tasmanian students have embarked on a gruelling 24-hour challenge in the name of charity. The St Patrick's College Year 12 cohort putting on a united front, taking the task one step, stroke and pedal at a time.
On bikes, in the pool and putting one foot in front of another, St Patrick's College students having a go at an annual tradition.
It's more so about the fun than the physical exercise.
Now in its 15th year, Lap It Up pushes pupils to their limits over a gruelling 24 hours.
Putting aside our own personal feelings of tiredness and fatigue and that sort of thing, we are doing it for a cause, and that's what's important.
It's a bit out of my comfort zone physically, so I thought I'd just take it easy and enjoy the event.
The long-standing tradition, a rite of passage for the impending graduates.
It means a lot to our Year 12 students. It's a bit of a legacy.
leading a fundraising charge with money heading to local charities and international aid.
It's really exciting to be supporting and giving back to the community.
I've just been absolutely blown away by the work ethic, the determination of our young people.
Supported by staff who'll be cheering them on every step of the way, the students are tackling the daunting task head on.
Pumping myself full of sugar, just like enjoying time with my friends, just keeping the energy up high.
Eyeing off tomorrow's finish line.
Blood, sweat and tears that have kind of culminated in a big finale, and I think everyone will rest well.
Victoria Esto, 7 Tasmania News.
Labor has accused the government of failing children learning to read. Nearly a third of Tasmanian Year 7 students aren't meeting reading expectations, according to the most recent NAPLAN results.
It's going to have an impact on their lives. We need to make sure we're supporting all Tasmanians to reach their potential, and literacy is a key part of that.
We know that we need to have education performing at its best so that we can produce a future workforce to be able to cater to the needs.
Education Minister Roger Yench says all students from Prep to Year 2 will be explicitly taught phonics by 2026, which includes continuous progress monitoring. Sections of Tasmania's classic car community will sell some of their hottest wheels this weekend as part of a national auction. From rare models to iconic Australian brands, the collection is expected to fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars.
All revved up and looking for a place to go. This garage in Hobart is currently a collector's dream. Dozens of iconic makes are currently parked up, waiting for a new home.
Over 30 cars are listed in Tasmania, which makes up the bulk of actually what we've got listed around the country.
Auction House Pickles is running a national classic car auction this Father's Day weekend. From high-end brands to classic family vehicles, the collection spans decades, price range and countries.
Holdens, Fords, Volkswagens, Bentley, Jaguar, Triumph. I like seeing cars used, so by getting them into a new home, someone's hopefully going to start using them.
They're part of a 50-car collection, which is expected to net more than $2 million. Many spending years hidden away in Tasmanian homes.
There's a lot of hidden gems in people's garages that are forgotten. Family heirlooms, multiple vehicles here have been inheritance from years ago.
One of the items expected to generate significant interest is this Ford 1939 Slambag. The hot rod built from scratch at a cost of $250,000.
It's been a finalist at the Summer Nats Maguire's Show and Shine, so certainly one for a fastidious buyer.
Pickles expecting many to sell fast.
People like toys. They're toys, Sunday drivers get to enjoy it on a nice day.
The auction begins at noon tomorrow. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Finals might be out of reach, but North Hobart is hungry to finish the TSL season with a win this weekend. The Young Demons face North Launceston at UTAS Stadium on Saturday afternoon. They'll take on the Bombers without a number of key players, but the coach is looking to move into 2024 with a famous victory.
You go up and you put up a really good performance, and that just sort of solidifies that we are on the right track, and we'll give it our best shot.
The Northern Bombers also keen to roll into finals in winning form.
We definitely need to, get the jump on them early, and then keep kicking away and kick a winning score.
First bounce is at UTAS Stadium at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Things are heating up in the NTFA final series, with the Premier Division gearing up for some blockbuster semis. A big battle awaits South Launceston going up against minor premiers Hillwood on Saturday.
We know it's going to be a really physical game. Great midfields, both South and Hillwoods. Obviously we got the week off and we're ready to go.
Meanwhile, Bridge North go into a semi-final at home with confidence, ending the women's regular season undefeated. It'll be a tough matchup for the OLs, but they say they're up to the task.
They're the benchmark, they've set the standard. Now they've been undefeated all year, they've got a target on their back, so we're coming.
Saturday's winning teams will progress through to the grand final. Tasmania's Caleb Jewell was unable to help Australia A avoid a crushing defeat to New Zealand A. Returning to the crease on day 4 in Brisbane, he copped a low blow early. He appeared to be in a good mood, scoring an early boundary as Australia looked to save the game. But on 15, he was sent back to the pavilion.
Yeah, should be caught. It is caught.
No.
Caleb Jewell playing an interesting shot.
His wicket at the start of a collapse, with Australia eventually all out for just 127. The two sides are back in action on Monday. And the Jack Jumpers have gone 2 from 2, marching away with another practice match win against Melbourne United. This time putting on a show in front of a sellout Launceston crowd, winning the clash 89-78. Milton Doyle helping the Ant Army across the line, top scoring with 22 points.
Doyle again, it's Doyle again! 2 in a row. The other side of the court this time.
The Jack Jumpers without new recruit Majok Deng, the NBL veteran currently away for the FIBA World Cup.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport 16 today. Launceston and St Helens the state's high with 17, Burnie 15. Now apart from the west, temperatures were above average. Friendly Beaches 16, Bushy Park and the Islands 15, Lowhead and Grove 14 today. Lyawenia low overnight with -2. Cloudy conditions right across the state, particularly over western and southern Tasmania. Warra had 10 millimetres of rainfall to 3 p.m. Areas of low cloud gathered over Victoria and parts of southern South Australia, some cloud with thunderstorms over northern New South Wales and into Queensland. Tomorrow a large high moves over South Australia and Victoria, extending a ridge our way, troughs over the west and east of the country. South to southwesterly winds reaching 30 knots in the east. A pullback should occur tomorrow, lighter winds over the west coast, but we do have a strong wind warning that's been issued for waters from Stanley to southeast Cape. Forecast for tomorrow, Hobart partly cloudy and 14, 15 for Huonville, Campania cloudy and 14 degrees. Launceston partly cloudy and 15, Georgetown the same, Devonport 14 degrees. To Burnie tomorrow, a high of 14 and mostly sunny, cloudy for Strawn but fine, cool 13, 15 the high for Wynyard. St Helens tomorrow 14 and partly cloudy, 14 for Swansea, 14 for Port Arthur as an early shower clears. Saturday a fine partly cloudy day, sunny over Swansea 16, even warmer over the east coast on Sunday and fine across the state. Mainly fine on Monday ahead of a shower developing over the north and west. Showers on the way as well in Perth tomorrow. Adelaide 17 degrees, a morning shower in Melbourne, fine but windy in Sydney, 18 the maximum, and 10 degrees warmer than that in Brisbane. Little drizzly over Hobart at the moment, 9 degrees in Launceston, a bit of cloud, clear in Devonport and 10 degrees. You mentioned it, Kim, spring on the way tomorrow, plenty of colour. Maybe you can start wearing some colour from now on.
I thought you were going to be nice for a change. Thank you, Murph. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.